Everything you learn about marketing fails without this system. And before you argue with me, let me be very clear about something. Nothing is broken. You're not bad at marketing. Your team is not lazy. Your agency might not even be incompetent. But if marketing feels like you're constantly starting again, this video is for you. And I'm saying this because the pattern is always the same. Smart teams, real effort, good intentions, but still stuck in the same loop. So today, I'm going to run you through 5 steps you can audit in your business right now. Now, these are not optimizations. These are checks to see whether your system is even designed to carry momentum. Not theory, not education. These are practical steps you can apply immediately. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your marketing feels harder than it should and what to change. So let me describe a situation and tell me if this feels familiar. Every campaign feels like a reset. Every launch feels like starting from zero. Every new month feels disconnected from the last one. It's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole at the bottom. No matter how much effort you add, nothing feels. So when results are bad, you assume your marketing is terrible. When results are good, you assume the friction is normal. You assume, that's just how it works. Now, high ad spend, constant pressure to post, always chasing the next lead. And here is what makes this especially exhausting. You're doing everything you were told to do. You have a content calendar, you post consistently, you run ads, you have email sequences, you show up on social, you test, you optimize, you follow the best practices, and yet nothing sticks. One month you run a campaign and it works, the next month you run the same campaign and it dies. You launch something new and people show up, then they disappear and you have to start all over. There's no momentum, there's no compounding, there's just effort. Constant, relentless, exhausting effort. And the wild part is this. Most brands are not even angry about this. They think, well, this is how marketing works now. They think everyone is dealing with this. They think the grind is the price of staying competitive. So instead of questioning the system, they question themselves. But it's not normal. It's only common. There's a difference between what everyone is doing and what actually works. This is where everything you learn about marketing quietly starts to fail. Here's the part nobody tells you about. At any given time, only about 3 to 5% of your market is actively looking to buy. 3 to 5%, which means up to 95% of people are not in the market right now. They're watching, learning, forming opinions, deciding who feels familiar and who does not. They're not searching, they're not comparing, they're not ready to decide. They might have the problem you solve. They might even know that they have it. They're just not urgency ready. So now ask yourself this honestly. Why would you build your entire marketing system around the smallest group of people? Because everyone else does? If you search for a marketing agency today, what do you see? Paid ads, social media management, content creation, funnel optimization. And, listen, they're not doing anything wrong. They're specializing. They're delivering what they promise. When that is all you do, you're only showing up when people are ready to buy, which means you are already late. You're showing up at the exact moment when everyone else is also showing up. You're competing for the same 3 to 5% that every other brand in your space is fighting for. And when everyone is fishing in the same pond, the only way to win is to spend more, shout louder, or discount harder. This is why it feels exhausting. You're not building an advantage, you're fighting for scraps. That other 95%, they're still making decisions. They're still consuming content. They're still forming opinions. They're still building preferences. They're just not buying yet. And if you're not influencing how they think during this time, someone else will. Step 1, this is your first audit. Ask yourself this question and write down the answers. If I remove ads and promotions from my marketing today, what is left? Really think about it. If you stop running ads tomorrow, if you stop doing lunches, if you stop posting discounts and limited time offers, what would people still engage with? What would still pull them closer to you? If the answer is nothing, every campaign is a reset because nothing is carrying over. You're not building demand, you're renting attention. Every result you get disappears the moment you stop paying or posting. And that's not sustainable. Renting attention means you're always one budget cut away from irrelevance. You're always one algorithm change away from starting over. You're always one competitor with deeper pockets away from losing. That's not marketing. That's survival mode. And survival mode never compounds. Now, let me simplify a technical term without making it academic. Demand capture is showing up when someone already wants to buy. Search ads targeting people who are searching for your product. Discount campaigns for people on the fence. Buy now messages for people ready to decide. It is necessary. You need the revenue now. Nobody's arguing that. But demand capture only works on people who already decided that they have a problem and are actively looking for a solution. It does not create preference. It does not build memory. It does not reduce friction over time. It just catches what already exists. It converts decisions that were already made somewhere else. And here's the thing that most brands do not realize. Demand capture was never designed to stand alone. It was designed to convert people who were already primed. Somewhere along the line, brands started treating it like the entire strategy. They started measuring everything by conversions, by click-through rates, by cost per acquisition. And when those numbers got worse, they assumed they needed better ads, better copy, better targeting. The execution was fine. The environment was wrong. The strategy was just incomplete. You cannot optimize your way out of a structural problem. Step 2, your second audit. Look at your last 10 pieces of marketing, not just social posts, everything, ads, emails, landing pages, content. Who were they speaking to? People ready to buy right now or people that are still figuring things out? If all of your marketing assumes urgency, you're ignoring the 95% of your market. You're speaking to people who are already at the finish line. What about the people who are still at the starting line? The people who do not even know they should be running yet. What are you giving them? This is why marketing starts to feel like a rat race. So you're running as fast as you can. You're working as hard as you can. You're only ever competing for the same small group of people who are ready right now. And when that group gets more competitive, you run faster. When cost goes up, you work harder. Not because it's smart, but because there's no other lever to pull. And when results drop, you panic, throw more money at it, and nothing changes. The system itself needs to change. Demand creation is not magic. It's not forcing people to want things that they do not need. It's engineering familiarity, preference, and trust before they buy stuff. So let me give you some examples of what this actually looks like. Not tactics, patterns. Sometimes demand creation looks like helping people name a problem they could not explain before. You know that feeling when you have been dealing with something for months and then someone describes it perfectly and suddenly you realize, oh, that is what this is. Well, that is demand creation. In all cases, the work is happening before the transaction. Now, sometimes it is shaping how people think about a solution. You're not telling them what to buy, you're teaching them what to look for, what matters, what doesn't. And when they finally go looking, they're looking for the things you taught them to value. That is demand creation, and sometimes it's simply helping them understand why they should want something at all. So not everything is a problem. If you sell food, for example, people already eat. If you sell clothes, people already dress. If you sell perfumes, people do like to smell good already. So the question is not why they should buy sometimes. The question is why they should choose you. And the answer to that question is not in your product features. It's in how you shape their thinking before they were ready to buy. Now let's move on to step 3. Ask yourself this. What do I consistently give people before they need to buy? Not discounts, not promos, not lunches. Ideas, perspective, language, connection. So if someone follows you for 6 months and never buys, are they still becoming more aligned with you? Are they starting to think the way you think? Are they using the language you use? Are they seeing the problems the way you see it? If the answer is no, you're just creating content for the algorithm. Content that could belong to anyone. You're posting for visibility, for reach, for engagement metrics, but you're not building demand. And here's how you know the difference. When you build demand, people who have never bought from you will still defend you in conversations. They will recommend you without being asked. They will explain your perspective to other people using your words. That's what demand creation does. And, it sort of turns non-buyers into believers. And when those believers are finally ready to buy, they do not compare you to anyone. They just buy. And here's the most dangerous part. You can get results without a system. You can run ads and get leads. You can post content and get engagement. You can launch something and make sales. And when it works, you assume you have figured marketing out. You assume the system is working, but all you have done is survive the cycle. So let me explain what I mean. Most brands are running in what I call transactional momentum. You do something, it works, you get a result, and then the result ends, so you do something else. That works, you get a result, then it ends, and over and over and over and over again. So every month, you are starting from scratch. Every campaign is isolated, every win is temporary. And you tell yourself, this is normal. This is just what you have to do to stay relevant. That's not momentum, that is survival. Welcome to the rat race. So moving on to step 4, write down the top 3 objections people have before buying from you. Price, is it too expensive? Trust, how do I know this will work? Timing, I'm not ready yet. Understanding, I do not get why I need this. Now ask yourself these questions. Where are those objections being addressed before the sales conversation? If objections only come up during sales, you're already late, because by the time someone is on a call with you or reading your sales page, they've already formed an opinion. They already think you're expensive, or they already doubt whether it will work, or they already decided they're not ready. And now you're just trying to overcome that resistance in real time, which could be really exhausting. Demand creation handles objection long before buying happens. So if price is an objection, you do not address it by just justifying your price. You address it by teaching people what cheap could actually cost them. If trust is an objection, you do not address it by listing testimonials. You address it by letting people what you think, by showing them your process, by giving them proof over time. So if timing is an objection, you do not address it by creating urgency. You address it by helping them see the cost of waiting. Demand creation does not overcome objection. It dissolves them before they form. That is the difference between persuasion and preparation. So this is why we built the ideal culture triangle. Everything I described earlier, the resets, the exhaustion, the constant starting over, this is what happens when these elements are disconnected. Not as a framework to teach, not as a marketing trick, a system that creates deep connection at scale. Identity, content, community, not slogan, not vibes. A living system where people understand how you think, why you exist, and where they belong. Now let me break this down. Identity is not your brand positioning. It's not your tagline. Identity is the worldview your brand represents. It's the belief system that defines how you see the problem, what you value in solutions, and what you're willing to stand for, even when it's unpopular. And when identity is clear, everything you create has a point of view, and point of view is what makes you different in ways that cannot be copied. Content is not posted for the algorithm. Content is the strategic distribution of your worldview across every stage of awareness. From people who do not even know they have a problem to people who are ready to buy. Every piece of content has a job, and that job connects back to your identity. And community is not a Facebook group or a Discord server. Community is a structure that turns customers into advocates. It is what keeps people connected after they buy. It is what turns belief into belonging. And when you build belonging, customers do not just buy once and disappear. They stay, they refer, they defend, they create demand on your behalf. This is the culture triangle. Demand creation does not work because of worldview alone. It works because people are engaging with a connected system over time. So identity defines what you stand for. Without it, every message just floats. Content distributes that across all stages. Without it, belief never leaves your head, and community turns belief into belonging. Without it, momentum dies after the sale. One system, 3 elements, engineer demand. And final step, ask yourself this one question. Is my marketing designed to convert attention or to compound belief? One disappears when you stop pushing. The other keeps working when you're silent. If it only converts, everything resets. Every campaign is isolated. Every customer is a single transaction. Every win is temporary. If it compounds, demand starts working for you. People who never bought become believers, and believers become customers. Customers become advocates, and advocates creates more demand than you ever could alone. That is the difference between renting attention and building demand. One resets, the other compounds. Everything you learn about marketing does not fail because it is wrong. It fails because it was never meant to stand alone. Demand capture is necessary, but it is incomplete. And when incomplete systems are treated as complete strategies, marketing becomes exhausting. You work harder, you spend more, you optimize faster, but nothing really sticks. The system itself is broken, but the culture triangle fixes the system. It does not replace what you're doing, it integrates it. So your ads work better because people already know you. Your content works better because it connects to a worldview, and your customers, they stay longer because they belong to something bigger. This is what engineer demand looks like. It's quiet at first, obvious in hindsight. So it's not magic, it's not theory, it's just structure. If this helped you to see your marketing differently, drop a comment. And if you know someone running in circles right now, send this to them and they will thank you for it. And if you want to understand how to actually build this system, that's what we do at iDevo Lab. We do not help brands just compete better. We help brands to compete differently.